Are you ready?
Are you ready?
For a podcast hosted by George T.
Who the hell are you?
I am the movie geek.
Who are you?
I am the movie geek.
You are such a geek.
Thank you.
And now, on with the show.
It's time!
It's showtime.
It's showtime. Here we go.
Welcome into the Movie Geek Podcast. Once again, my name is George T. and I am your host as always here. And I wanted to say a very special happy Halloween to all of you out there. And I'm grateful for you listening to this podcast. This episode is going to be about a movie that I saw just recently that was voted the top horror film of 2024. Now, there is some conjecture as to, again, we talked about this in my History of Horror show, what defines horror, what genres, and so on. Does a certain movie fit into it, or does it not fit into it? So, right now, I would have said Alien Romulus would be a top movie. I saw Abigail as well, although that wasn't very good. But I will go through that movie that I'm talking about very momentarily. I just wanted to give quick updates on a few things. First, this weekend is Comic-Con weekend. I will be not having media credentials, but I will be going all 3 days and trying to meet as many guests as possible. Obviously, we'll not have any quotes or interviews lined up there, but I can share some experiences with you on an upcoming episode in the future. Maybe even get some video of, put up pictures or whatnot. But it has been an interesting look at who is going to be at the Comic-Con. And again, I always look forward to going to Comic-Con. And this year is no exception. This will be, God, it has been so long. I think I mentioned this on one of the other ones that it's 2016 was the first one that George and I went to. I'm hoping to keep that tradition going, even after, George turns 18, eventually down the line, maybe has a family, way down the line, takes his kids, and so on. So, I'm hoping that will continue. But anyway, I have hoped you've enjoyed the few episodes that I've had for the Halloween spooky season. And, hopefully some of the movie recommendations you've enjoyed. Some of them you may not have enjoyed. But again, everybody has taste, and you may like something and I may not like something, and everybody has what they like and what they don't. So, all right, with that being said, let's go over the weekend box office. And to no surprise whatsoever, the winning movie was Venom: The Last Dance. I still don't have very high hopes for this movie to go any further, doing as well. But my son George, who is a big Venom fan, has really no interest in seeing this, but I will eventually probably see it with him. It made $51 million. Smile 2, which was last week's number one, made 9.5. Wild Robot, which was number 2 the following weekend, made 6.8. Conclave just opened this weekend. It made a modest 6.6. This is the movie about the Vatican. It is getting rave reviews and critically acclaimed. Best Film nomination, so I'll have to check it out. But right now, again, I'm still with Civil War. And then finally, We Live in Time was fifth at 4.8. It's an A24 film. Terrifier 3 is still in the top 10. It's sixth. Beetlejuice still hanging on in the top 10. And so on. I did find one funny thing about this list is a little further down past number 10, but The Nightmare Before Christmas made $491,000 in the theaters. I'm not sure why we have to go back and put it into theaters when you can literally stream it on Disney Plus. That and the sing-along version on Disney Plus. But hey, I'm glad to see that families were going to see, movies, and they've been doing that all year. So, the box office has been better than probably what they expected, and I hope that continues. I love the movie-going experience. I love buying DVDs, which, contrastly, I have seen a uprising of sorts from customers and consumers that actually want the physical DVDs back. Because, as I mentioned, streaming services have a tendency to take away films that you enjoy. And the fact that you can have a physical DVD is, when you're sitting at home and you're like, I could really want to watch, name your movie. And you go to the streaming service, it's not on there, or you got to pay for it. It's on Amazon Prime. Well, if it's not part of it, then you have to rent it. And it's mind-boggling to me that when you pay for a streaming service and you still have to pay on top of that, or, with Xfinity, you have to pay for on-demand sometimes, and it just, it boggles my mind. That's why when I did have the videos up, you saw that I have a massive wall of DVDs, and I love popping in a DVD every once in a while. So I was able to get Deadpool and Wolverine on DVD or Blu-ray, and Twisters, the new one. I have not seen that one yet, so I'm going to hold off on doing a review on it. But I figured I'd get it now because, again, a lot of places aren't going to be carrying Blu-rays and DVDs. Although I did read a life hack about Redbox. Redbox has gone out of business. All the Redboxes, mostly around the country, are still sitting around. There was a guy who went and tried to rent movies out of the box, and he did. He didn't get charged for it. I don't know if that's true or not. Although, quite frankly, if they're just going to sit there, I would love to maybe get somebody to crowbar it for me, and I would love to take some free movies. I mean, don't call the cops on me or anything. I'm not going to go do that. All right. So, with that being said, Halloween is always a magical time. It's, you get to dress up as your favorite characters and go and get candy. That's always been my biggest thing. I remember taking George for his first Halloween when he was 1. And he wasn't really into it, obviously. Young kids are really not into it, but, they like to, just kind of sightsee and whatnot. And I think that's what I think AJ will do for, his first Halloween experience. He is 9 months. Next year, he will be a year and 9 months. So who knows? He may be into it. George was not into the trick-or-treating thing until he got a little bit older. So, again, kids are kids, and they will do what they want. But getting back to his first one, I remember, we went door to door. He we tried to get into it. I just couldn't. So, we kind of helped him along, and we brought the candy back, and I wound up taking like most of the candy. I had to board a plane at midnight. I was heading down to Myrtle Beach with some buddies to play golf for the week. So, yeah, that was his first experience. So, obviously, I'm not boarding a plane the next day to go to Myrtle Beach. I wish, because I do miss playing golf right now. But anyway, so Halloween is again really special time, and it's one of our favorite holidays. And then after that, we get into Thanksgiving. It's family holiday. I'll probably do a Thanksgiving Day episode. Okay, and then, as much as it is the most wonderful time of the year for most people, when you work in retail, Christmas is not the most wonderful time of the year. It is not even close. I respect the holiday, but I can't stand the holiday. And I'll get into that when I do my Christmas episode way from now. Then I'll take a little break and come back in late January and start season 2, and hopefully with a new computer setup and everything else, we'll actually have decent chance, but with video and trailers to see and everything else, and hopefully a little bit more of a following, we can get a lot done with it. So that being said, let us get into now. Obviously, Halloween should be playing like a 24/7 marathon, the original. Halloween after that, if you just take them in order of when they came out, I think that's the way it should be. Like if you rank them from top to bottom, the new trilogy, I applaud Jamie Lee Curtis for trying so hard to push this new trilogy, but no, I'm sorry. The original will never be topped. I know they did the remake and then the remake of the second one, but the original stands the test of time, and there will be, in my eyes, no substitute for that original movie with Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, I did see Trap. My next episode will be about M. Night Shyamalan movies and compare that one with The Watcher as his daughter's first foray into directing. So that'll be the next episode. But I wanted to talk briefly about, again, Rotten Tomatoes gave this a top score, and this is voted for the best horror movie of 2024 right now. And with it being on Hulu, I was able to watch it. And the movie is Late Night with the Devil. It got a Rotten Tomatoes score of 97. And from the audience perspective, it was 81%. I think, pretty much when I saw the trailer and everything, I said, you know what, this is probably very interesting. So this is about a guy whose name is Jack Del Rio, and he is a rival of Johnny Carson. So this is kind of fictional, but at the same time, it's pretty, right on with late night talk shows and everything else. Now, there is a narrator at the beginning that says this is found footage of what happened this one fateful night on this late night talk show. So Jack Delroy, I don't know why I said it the other way, but he was a host of a syndicated talk show called Night Owls that had long been a trusted company to insomniacs around the country. However, ratings started to slip. His wife died of cancer, and desperate times called for desperate measures because sweeps was coming up, and in 1977 he wanted to do a Halloween special that was going to help his ratings. And what I found interesting about it is they said found footage, and I kind of was like, well, it doesn't look like found footage. It doesn't look like what you would think of found footage as, like Blair Witch or Paranormal Activity. So I said, well, let me see what this is. So this is, firsthand account kind of things from, crew and cameramen who were on the scene. So he has this idea to bring in paranormal, a psychic and a paranormal debunker. And then he is dating a parapsychologist who has just happened to have a little girl who survived a cult and may be possessed by the devil. So right there, you're kind of like, okay, this is going to be interesting to see what happens. And again, I didn't know really what to expect from this movie, but when Rotten Tomatoes gave it such a good review and the audience score was good, I got intrigued. So he's cracking jokes or whatever, and then he brings out his first guest, and he is a renowned psychic, and he's so the psychic's name in this film was called Christos, played by Faisal Bazi. Again, you know me and horrible pronunciations of people's names. So he starts to have, his psychic abilities, and he's trying to pick up on energy. And right before his set is over, he is overcome by a powerful force. And he starts to nosebleed. This is when the paranormal debunker, Carmichael Hunt, played by Ian Bliss. Ian Bliss is a character, and I sat here watching this film, and I'm like, I know who this guy is. I just don't know where I remembered seeing him. He was in Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolution. He played the human in the real world, Agent Smith. So, he plays a really cynical guy in this, and he's trying to debunk, Christos's psychic ability. Then Christos has a psychic episode, starts spewing blood everywhere from his mouth. They have to rush him to the hospital. Ratings start to go up. Phones are ringing off the hook. People are like, oh my God, what happened to him? Is he all right? So they give an update on him going to the hospital. And, so now the bunker's out there, and, he's, doing this and that. And, the man known as Jack Delroy, played by, and he was amazing in this, David Dasmalinchi. Again, sorry for the mispronunciation. He was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He played one of Ant-Man's criminal buddies. So and he was a funny character. And so, but he was really, really good in this. And if he does not get a nomination for Best Actor, I would be surprised. So now they're going to do the paranormal part. So it starts to get real serious. So it went from kind of joking around about paranormal to what is about to happen. So his love interest now, after his wife, has gone, is June. She is a parapsychologist who is working with Lily. Lily is played by Ingrid Torrell, and June is played by Laura Gordon. So they come out to do an experiment with Lily. Lily is a strange teenager. And obviously, with what she probably had witnessed in this cult phenomenon, and the movie talks about the cult. It has, video footage, news footage of like almost a Waco type thing where this guy was, in charge of all these women, and he was performing sacrifices to the devil and trying to bring the devil in. So obviously not Waco in that, they were against the government or whatever. It was a cult, but this was a cult about bringing the devil. So now they have the standoff, just like in Waco, and then they burn the house down so that, the devil can get his souls that he needs. Well, this one girl, Lily, survived the fire, and June is helping her with her abilities. So she has abilities. So is she possessed by the devil? Who knows? So June does an experiment, and Lily turns into some kind of devilish being. And the audience is scared out of their minds. Carmichael is not impressed. He is also good in psychology, and he tries to debunk it later on. And he does a fairly good job of it, but once that is over with, Lily becomes enraged and starts to play tricks on Carmichael. And he's trying to debunk it, and he's unsuccessful. To that end, Lily decides to show her true powers. At this point, the staff and only a few staffers, let's put it this way, know about Gustavo being dead in the hospital. They want to try to keep it low, or at least the stage manager is trying to do it, and it starts to leak out. So now the crew is starting to worry because Lily is trying to show her power, but she's still kind of in that phase where she wants to use it, but June has caught her kind of, on lockdown. The audience now, starting to want to leave. So the crew starts to empty out some of the crowd who wants to leave, and some stay. Well, obviously that becomes a fatal mistake. As the crew wants to leave, they, are like, hey, you got to stop this. Lily is dangerous. Let's close this up. Let's wrap this up. And stage manager's like, no, let's keep going. Let's keep going because, this is the ratings. This is what's going to get you back to the top. And he kind of loses himself, does Jack, and he says, let's go. And even June says, this is going to be dangerous. This could end badly. And this was the point in the film that got a little crazy, as June kind of lets Lily loose a little bit, because, well, not so much loose in that she's like, go ahead and show your power. June now is so worried about everyone else that she kind of forgets about Lily and her powers, and Lily decides to act on that. And first, she goes after some of the crew. Then she goes after Carmichael, who has been berating her and berating everyone else, and makes makes him turn into a bloody mess. Then June tries to stop Lily, and she takes June's necklace and decapitates her. So this movie kind of gets away from it, and I know, spoiler alert and everything else, but now it's Jess, Jack, and Lily. And Lily is showing him what he has sold himself to. By doing this, he basically has sold his soul to the devil. So, at first I was like, I don't really know how to feel about this. And then really thinking about it, I'm like, he was doing what he thought was right because he didn't have much left in the world. His wife had just died of cancer, like maybe a year or two before that, and his ratings were down, and he needed to do something, or he was going to be done. He was going to be out of the spotlight, and then he wouldn't be a part of the rich and famous because they had their own little cult clique. They had little retreats, and they exchanged pleasantries or whatever. So he made the choice to do this paranormal show and basically had sold his soul to the devil. And in this case, it would have been Lily. She shows him a path that he took and winds up meeting his wife in a hospital bed, and she tells him, you know what to do. And I was expecting maybe he pulls the plug on her, because she knew she was going to die. And instead, she pulls out a dagger that Lily had with her when she was found when she was younger from the cult guy. And he plunges it into his wife's chest, which in turn, when you come all the way back to it, is Lily in a seat. She is trying to show him, in his mind, just playing tricks with him, and he winds up killing Lily. And there's just blood and bodies everywhere that Lily left. And eventually Lily, gets killed. So, do I honestly believe that, it's the best horror film of the year? Again, all subject. But as far as what the list showed, obviously Alien Romulus, I would think would be my guess. But I know sci-fi horror is not quite the same as psychological and found footage and all that other stuff. But as far as the rest of the list, I believe this was definitely one of the top movies. So if you do get a chance, I would say if you like that paranormal kind of movie, and it's a good story. The story is really good, and it's well acted. It's not like it's a bad acted movie. I would recommend this. I would definitely recommend it for a view. And again, the list is pretty extensive for movies this year in horror, and but I would definitely say this was definitely one of the top ones. Although I think Alien Romulus should be up there a little bit higher than it was in the rankings. Terrifier 3 just came out, so it's not on the ranking system just yet. I scrolled through the whole thing. There was one movie I still haven't seen. I don't even know where to stream it. Out of Darkness, I had talked about that. That was one of my top 25 films I was looking forward to this year. I cannot seem to find this thing. So, Late Night with the Devil. Definitely check it out. That does conclude the spooky season 1. Don't forget, I do have an episode of M. Night Shyamalan movies coming up, ranking them and giving my review of Trap. Also, down the pipe, I do have video games turned into movies, or movies turned into video games, vice versa kind of thing. It's kind of extensive, so it might be a two-parter, like Marvel's, only because everybody keeps talking about this Minecraft trailer debacle with how bad it looks. And favorite video game of mine, Until Dawn, has a release date, which I will talk about during that, or I might even talk about it next week on the episode, on a regular episode. And then I'll also talk about Rhode Island Comic Con and who I met, and maybe share a few stories. Also, I might do a special one, kind of a retrospective of my years with George going to the Comic Cons, doing it a video one, kind of what I was trying to do with Boston Comic Con one, with all the B-roll footage, but I didn't actually get to really put that together, even though not going to get the access to do B-roll and so on, but I can still do an episode like that, so look for that one as well. And then, honestly, last thing is communications. I would love to communicate with you guys. If you have a show idea, or you have a movie that you would want me to review, or your perspective on a movie or anything, feel free to send me an email, and or there has to be a way on Spotify, or I know on YouTube you can definitely go to the comments. I've had some comments on some of the earlier ones that I've done. So again, if it is something you want me to review or anything, hit me up. Just let me know. And again, I would love some communication. One last thing, also check out Jennifer Nangles, Queen Walvia. She's got 3 episodes up, and they look very, very good. She's so talented, and I'm grateful that she was one of my first guests. I definitely want to get her back on. Maybe not by the end of the year, maybe definitely early next year, and so on. And that is all. And again, happy Halloween, everyone. I'll see you at the movies.
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.